Selling a house is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make in your whole life. And in a place like Fargo-Moorhead, there's over 1,000 people licensed to buy and sell homes here in the area. And with 1,000 agents, you do not want to just choose one off the street. Because if you end up choosing the wrong agent, it could end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars when you're selling your home. In this video, I'm breaking down the 9 questions you need to ask prospective agents when choosing to list your home on the market, so you can sell your home in the most quick, efficient, and stress-free way, and you net the most amount of money possible at the end of the day. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Sykora. I'm a real estate agent here in Fargo-Moorhead, and I make a lot of videos to just give people information on like the real estate market, things to do in the area, different sectors and different neighborhoods here in Fargo-Moorhead. And I actually have people who reach out through the channel who are interested in buying and selling homes here in the Fargo-Moorhead metro. If that sounds like you, you can schedule yourself right into my calendar through the link in the description below, or you can reach out to my contact information, which will be on the screen now. And hey, I hope you ask me some of the questions that I go over later in this video. So let's jump right in. Here are the 9 questions you need to ask agents before you hire them to sell your home. And if you stay tuned until the end of this video, I'll give the #1 thing you need to ask agents about how they get paid and how that structure works. And I'll give you a hint, it's not commission. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video. When you interview an agent, maybe they've done a competitive market analysis on your home, they give you an idea of price, you need to ask them this question. You need to ask, what is the market like for my house and how long do you think it will take to sell? There's a lot of different sectors of the market here in Fargo-Moorhead. There's the condo market, there's the luxury market, there's new construction market. There's different sectors of the market with different price ranges. Your agent that you hire should know this, and they should know how to position your home correctly to sell in that specific type of the market. But they should also know how long it's going to take your house to sell based on other market stats and other houses they've seen or they've sold. For example, a house that's in the luxury market, it's going to take longer to sell here in Fargo than a house that's a twin home priced at $250 here in Fargo. So if an agent doesn't know that, you probably do not want to hire them to sell your home. You need an agent that's going to know the market and know what your home's going to sell for, where to price it at to make sure it sells for the best price possible. And then did you know that homes priced accurately will sell 58% faster than houses that are not priced correctly? That's why it's really important to make sure the agent does a complete market analysis on your property and that they know the market and they know the state of the market for your home specifically. This next question is a really important one because according to a recent NAR article, the #1 complaint sellers have about their real estate agent is their communication. Maybe there isn't enough communication. They don't communicate in the right style for you. You need to ask, what is your communication style to an agent? A lot of the times they'll adapt to you. Maybe you prefer a phone call or an email or a text, but you got to ask them, if there's no showings of my property and it's sitting for a little bit longer, how are you going to keep in touch with me as your client? Because I'm sure you've all heard the stories. The agent will come in, they'll sign the listing paperwork with you as a client, they'll put their home on the market, put their sign in the yard, but you never hear from them again. You want to make sure you have an agent that will communicate with you every time something happens, consistently, to make sure you're in the loop with your home sale so you know what's going on and how they're going to get your property sold. Because it's the #1 complaint of people who had a bad experience. So you need to know this and you need to know what the agent's communication style is so you're both on the same page. The third question you need to ask an agent when listing your house is, what is some challenges you foresee when selling my home? Now there's another stat with this one too. 36% of sellers said there was some unknown repair or surprise or something during their home sale that could have been avoided if it would have been talked about beforehand. So let's say, for example, of a house. A house has a little bit of chipping paint on the outside and the deck, it needs to be restained. Now, if that house is in the first-time homebuyer range, $350,000 and under, the likelihood that someone will be an FHA or a VA buyer is pretty high. So you want to attack this on the beforehand to make your home stand out even more compared to other houses. Maybe have the house repainted, maybe have the deck restained so you can get past that chipping paint. Because that chipping paint, it's going to be an issue on the appraisal for both VA and FHA. So by taking care of that ahead of time on the house, you don't have to worry about it down the road, and it saves a lot of stress down the road. So you want to be able to have someone who will be honest with you and tell you the issues that are wrong with your home because no house is perfect. So you guys need to be able to have that conversation up front to say, okay, here are some things in your house that I see may be challenging or maybe setting us back from selling your home. How can we address those, or how can we get rid of those or talk about those before they actually happen? Because we do not want it to come up a week before closing or 2 weeks before closing. We want to be able to be smooth, steady, efficient. So you got to ask your agent, what challenges do you foresee for me to sell this property? Now, it could also be the market. For example, some condos, they're really hard to sell because there's a million of them available. So you need to know that, and you need to have that conversation up front so you're both on the same page and you both communicate with each other on both the issues and the good things with your home. This next question is very, very important, especially in a modern market like this, when 97% of people will start looking for homes online first. You need to ask your agent, what is your marketing plan and what type of services are included with this marketing plan? Now, this can vary a lot for agents. I'm sure everybody has seen it. You've seen the photos online that are iPhone photos that are a little blurry, they don't look great, but then you've also seen the professional photos that look really, really good. You need to ask your agent, what is included in your service that I'm paying for that will help get my home sold and sell for more money through the marketing plan? I'll just give the example of what I provide clients through my marketing strategy, just to set an example, and it's the easiest example I can give. So for my marketing strategy, I run online ads for your property. I have professional photography done. I have a drone that I use to take videos and pictures. Then I also will have a professional video done through my YouTube channel, which gets a ton of views. And then I run those digital ads, and then I post it all over all my social medias. This is what I do for my marketing plan. This gets properties I list upwards of 5,000 to 10,000 views, more than what an average property would have listed on the basic MLS. Of course, I'll list it on the MLS. I'll list it on all the thousands of websites, Zillow, Realtor.com. Every single website will have your listing on it. But I go above and beyond through my listing and marketing presentation to make sure your home sells and you get the most amount of eyes on it possible. Because all the eyes on your property are gonna be online. You need to make sure you have a good online presence for your property. Now, it also depends on the agent for what they offer. Some will offer maybe a small video package. Maybe they'll offer the professional photography. It varies a lot, but that's why you need to ask. You need to know what you're paying for, because you're gonna be paying your agent's commission, so you need to know what's included in that commission. The next question, which really ties into the last question, is do you offer staging services? Staging is where maybe a house is vacant, maybe come and bring some things in the home to make it look really good, make buyers imagine themselves living in the home. Maybe that's furniture, pictures, or coffee tables, that sort of thing. Stage homes on average will sell for 73% more than non-stage homes. So again, I'll give the example of what I do. I offer free virtual staging for online. Then I also offer a small staging package. It's around $250. Now, some agents will offer a full staging package for those who list with them. Others will offer zero. It really depends. And again, that's the reason why you're watching this video, is so you ask these questions so you know what your agent is offering. Now, if you want to see what my full package looks like, what my selling process looks like, what my pricing strategy is, you can reach out to me. Just schedule yourself right in my calendar through the link in the description below, or you can reach out to my personal phone number or email address will just be on the screen now. This next question is also very important. All these questions are super important. And what percentage of your business is listing side compared to buying side? So as most people know, agents can represent either the buyer or a seller in a transaction, or they could represent both. Because some people may only focus on buyers and maybe a buyer's agent. Now, helping someone buy a home and helping someone sell a home are two completely different things. And they take a ton of different strategies and a ton of different things that you need to implement. So you need to know if someone's a very listing heavy business, that they've done it before, compared to someone who maybe is only a buyer's agent. So just things to keep in mind and questions to spark conversation with a potential agent so you know what you're getting into for a seller and ultimately what you're paying for. Which dives right into my next question you need to ask agents, which is just straight up, what is your commission? Just be straight up, say, what's your commission? What do you charge? The agent will tell you, and again, you can talk about it or see how they back up that commission amount, what is included in their service, ask if they're gonna, ask them if they're gonna take a discount, because sometimes they might, you never know. It doesn't hurt to ask, just ask. You need to ask an agent these questions so you know what you're paying and what the service is included. And it can vary a lot. You'll have people who will charge some percentage and it'll be a full listing service. Then you'll have other people that will charge maybe a small flat fee. They'll throw your home on the internet, throw your home on a website, but that's kind of all they do. You also got to realize a lot of times you're going to get what you pay for. If you pay an agent that is a full service listing compared to an agent who's a limited service listing, there's going to be a difference in the service you receive as a seller. So you got to keep this in mind and just ask your agent, what's your commission and is it negotiable? I got 2 more questions left, and if you stay tuned until the last question, which will be something that is a hidden fee that a lot of people don't realize when they're selling their homes here in Fargo-Moorhead. Now, before we get there, we have one more question, which you need to ask your agent. Why should I hire you to sell my home, and what makes you better than other agents? Be straight up, be direct, and ask them that question. You got to see how they act under that pressure of that question. Because if they kind of fold, they're a little timid about it, compared to someone who's really confident in themselves, they know what they're doing, they know their business, they're prideful about it, you're going to see that as a seller when you ask that question. So that's why it's very important to ask that question. Why should I hire you to sell my home? Because if someone's passionate about it, they know what they're doing, they're going to tell you that. They're going to say, I am the best option to sell your home because this blank. So if you want to see what I would answer to that question and all the other questions in this video, just shoot me a text or shoot me an email, shoot me a call, and I'll answer all these questions for you on the call. Now let's get right to the last question, which is kind of a hidden fee that people do not realize when they're selling their home here in Fargo, North Dakota. That is, you need to ask your agent, do you charge a transaction fee? Now, a transaction fee is different than commission. Commission is what the agent charges. A transaction fee is something that they may charge on top of that for the office part of it, for the paperwork part of it. This can range from, $0 to over, $800, $900, $1,000 for a transaction fee just for the transaction to happen. Now, this can be a hidden fee that's on top of the normal commission amount that can be overlooked sometimes. So you need to ask, do you charge a transaction fee? Me personally, I do not charge a transaction fee. I do not believe in charging transaction fees, so I don't charge one. Some other people do. It depends on the brokerage too. Sometimes it's not the agent's decision, it's a brokerage they're at. But you need to ask, what is your transaction fee for me to list my home? If you ask your agent these questions, it can help narrow down your search to make sure you choose the right agent and you get the most amount of money, best price, and the most stress-free selling process you can when selling your home here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now again, if you want to hear my answer to these questions, or you're interested in buying or selling a home here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, you can just schedule yourself right into my calendar through the link in the description below, or reach out to my personal phone number or email address, which will be on the screen now.
Yeah. Gino Cornell. For all the lovely ladies.